The last movement pattern we're going to talk about is the deadlift. We talked about the squat, the lunge, the deadlift. The reason deadlift is so important is it takes us to an effective single leg stance. So we're starting here, getting the hip hinge mechanics. We're doing it in a double leg system. Core stability, but we're taking this to single leg stance. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Right now I'm going to get Danielle to demonstrate what I get people doing when they need some assistance. When they basically are supposed to be deadlifting and they round out the back, they initiate movement with flexing the spine as opposed to flexing the hip, they've got a problem. We can't get them anywhere near a double or single leg deadlift with those mechanics. They need to feel the stability the stick's going to offer their spine and at the same time be assisted in and out of the movement for motor learning. Watch her execute this movement. The stick stays on the head, the thoracic spine, and the sacrum all the way down and come back up. This is an effective way to teach somebody how not to round out the spine and get that spine stability for the hip hinge and deadlift mechanics. Do one more for us. And come back up. Effective for somebody who's rounding out the back. As soon as we get the deadlift movement correct, with the assistance, we go right to a single leg deadlift. Now this is difficult. I don't expect the range of motion. I don't expect her to go quite as low, but you've got to cue them. Bend the knee you're standing on. It's not a straight leg single leg deadlift. It's just a deadlift. We're going to use this leg to stimulate spine extension and spine stability, almost pointing that toe like Pilates. If the right arm's up, you're standing on the left leg to do the deadlift. If the left arm's up, you're standing on the right. Stick stays in contact with the spine. Go ahead and show us one of those. Excellent. Come back up. Try a little lower this time. Use this leg to give you stability. Reach for the wall, point the toe. Excellent. Now, sometimes we'll use a small toe lift or a small heel lift to improve proprioception. If they're getting it, don't mess with it. But if they're not getting it, sometimes using that heel lift or toe lift will help facilitate proprioception. We want to do this left and right, switch the arm position, get equality, use the assistance to gain what you don't have on the weak side, and then we can go into body weight movement. You can actually just take the stick without the cable, execute body weight movement, and now you're ready to start doing resisted movement. But this is assisted single leg deadlift. Reactive neuromuscular training is about challenging the balance, exaggerating the mistake. We're not just going to simply load the deadlift here. We're going to make her almost top heavy. We're going to make the deadlift as awkward as possible with the cable and with the stick to stimulate better core stabilization and better hip activity, first in double leg and then in single leg stance. Same stick position we've used before. Okay. There you go. Slide your hands on down a little bit more. There you go, and turn around. Perfect. Now, we're going to do a double leg first. So show me double leg, bent knee, good flat back mechanics. Excellent, excellent. Keep that spine nice and stable and extend up and through. Drive from the legs and up. Now, we can really challenge and try the single leg deadlift as well with reactive neuromuscular training. Go ahead and try one of those for us. Nice and slow, get in position, get stable, use your back leg to stabilize you. Excellent. And pull out of that, pushing through that leg. And so we're going to do both double and single leg R&T before we ever even go into resisted deadlift or really trying to load. As I said in the beginning, the deadlift is often left out of core training, and the deadlift is a very important movement to the core and to getting single leg stance, and then having an opportunity to look at the difference in your stability in single leg stance from the left and right. Before we go there, let's look at just good deadlift mechanics. We're going to use the bar, we're going to use the cable system to analyze this, and the elevated platform gives us a little bit better perspective of the hips. We can get down low, watch how she's doing, but also it gets her right up under the bar as if it were free weights. Let's watch you. She's going to straighten those knees and hinge from the hips. The back is now stable all the way up and through. Get full extension and then lower back down. This is not a straight leg deadlift. We can bend the knees to get through it, then we set the hamstrings. So go ahead and bend down, get to the bar, straighten those knees a little bit and set the hamstrings, and now it's all a straight pull through the hip, good core stability, and go ahead and set back down with that same knee position. Now, just by lowering resistance on the fly here, nice and easy way to train, we can go to a single leg deadlift. First thing we do is center that one foot in the center of the platform. We've got to also center the hand in the center of the bar. Now, one thing we do with a resisted single leg, single arm deadlift is whatever leg you're standing on, you lift with the opposite arm. That creates quite a bit of rotational torque in the torso. You've got to stabilize against that. So you have an opportunity not only to see the leg that doesn't stabilize, but you also get to see how the trunk wants to rotate against that resistance, and you don't want to see that rotation. You want to see the stability. Go ahead and single leg down to it. Center your hand in the bar and do what you've learned in RNT and pull through. Excellent. Her torso resisted quite a bit of torque and rotation. Good work on the last single leg deadlift. That's good stability, good trunk stability, good core stability, and in single leg stance, if you remember to keep that knee bent, that's where all your balance is coming from. You lock the knee, you lose a very important joint to help give you that proprioceptive feedback. Now, we also want to check core stability in single leg stance. It's probably not appropriate to try to hover in a single leg stance, but by placing this foot up and even going straight to the toe or something, demonstrating you're not bearing any weight on this bent leg, everything is driving from this right leg. Now, in a lift situation, we have this leg up, this leg down, and everything is being driven from that right leg. In a chop situation, of course, we would have this leg down, this leg up, pulled down and across our body. It's important to use the chop and lift to help you understand what's happening with the right and left side of the core in each of these very important foot positions, and we'll review them. Squat stance is symmetrical stance, lunge stance is asymmetrical stance, and then we have single leg stance, and it's probably just as appropriate to just rest this foot and use it as a kickstand, but not as a prime driver. Everything's coming off this leg. Compare the right and left side.